Hello, Grace Christian School families. Dr. Pettinger here. I wanted to provide you an update. Today is Tuesday, March 31st, 2020. As you can imagine, this COVID-19 disaster that our globe is facing is ever changing. There's no playbook, there's nothing in history that allows us to look back on how this should be handled as a nation, a state, and more importantly, as a private school. I want to cover a few important topics for you today that will help you understand where we are as a school. I want you to know that I'm going through every possible webinar, conference call, and email possible that allows me to make the best decisions possible for our school. And I am gaining quite a bit of information each day that is going to be extremely helpful for our school and our school families. Let's start with the start date back. We gave you a start date a day ago, and I told you that was very tentative. It was a moving date. And since then, we have gotten one glimmer of good news from the University of Washington, and that is their prediction that at some point right after mid-April, California will have hit the apex of COVID-19 outbreak and should start to flatline and decrease following that time. So that is great news for our state. It does allow for the potential of schools starting back. In talking to other subject matter experts at the Department of Health, and that they do believe there is a feasibility that we will return to school this school year. Maybe not on the date that we had set a couple days ago, but it might be the last day of April or somewhere in there. In the meantime, our classroom teachers are doing everything in their power to provide alternative forms of education for your children. They are making themselves available. They will be available to you and to your students between 8:30 in the morning and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The reason they're not available the entire time is they have to be able to have time to produce and upload information that you can use for your children at home. I know this isn't easy and this isn't the ideal way, but our goal is to make that gap in education as small as possible. I've heard that some schools have completely just shut down and are not doing anything, and I think that's a complete disservice to our students and their students, not only academically, but socially. I think that our students will benefit from continuing to connect with their teachers. Our teachers are praying for them, and I know your families are praying for our teachers. That daily contact provides some form of normalcy, which is so important in a child's life, especially when things are so hectic around them and they can sense the stress that we are all going through with these uncertain times. So know that we will continue to provide education through different forms of medium to you and to your families. In addition, we are still providing childcare and preschool for those essential employees. The number's not great. I think we're averaging 8 to 10 kids per day, and that's awesome that we're able to cut it down to that small number, yet still be available to help those families that need this. As I was saying about the start date, that is fluid, and as I hear more information, I will continue to pass that along. With that being said, we basically have April and May left as we finishing out the school year, and some of you are probably thinking about tuition. How am I going to be able to pay tuition and that? I know that some of you have lost your jobs, some of you have been laid off, and these are not easy times for anyone. I know we have had to cut back staff immediately at school in order to survive and make sure that we're feasible moving forward and do the responsible things with our resources. Now, to come out with one tuition plan that would fit all, I don't think would be responsible, because so many of our parents at Grace are in so many different boats. What might be feasible for one family would not even be a dream or a hope for another family. So if you are a family who has lost your job and are going to have financial difficulties in paying your tuition, I'm going to ask you to email Tommy Campbell. She's our business administrator, business manager. and we will work with you on an individual basis. Her email address will be in the comments, tcampbell@gcsrr.org. She will be gathering the information from each parent that calls her, and will get in touch with me, and we'll try to work out what is possible. In times like this, families have to come together, and I know some of our families have both members that are still working. They're considered essential employees. They're doctors, they're nurses, they're police officers, they're firefighters, they're restaurant owners, something like that. And for you, I ask that you maintain paying your tuition on time, so as a group we're able to get through this crisis that we're facing. Someone had asked, is Grace Christian School going to close as a result of COVID-19? And that answer is absolutely no. That is a big no. Many of you know that I am a very fiscal conservative person. Throughout the years, we have managed our business at Grace in a way that we can hit a road bump like this, and it's not going to knock our feet out from under us. We are continuing to do the things that we have to be responsible. We are planning on moving forward with Camp Oasis in the summer and returning to school in August. So there is nothing out there that would indicate that that is not going to happen. The only way I could see Grace not opening in August or through Camp Oasis would be through a federal or state mandate that says no school in the nation is allowed to reopen. And I do not see that in the cards throughout any of this. Neither do the subject matter experts that are talking on TV, no matter what scenario they are giving. We will be back, and we will be stronger than ever. But I know these are tough times, and I'm praying for you, and I know there are tough times for some of our staff members at Grace. And this is the time we need to pull together and help each other where we can. I'm not putting a plea out to ask you to donate money to the school or anything like that, because I want you to make sure your family is taken care of. If you need help with your tuition, I want you to call Mrs. Campbell or email her, and we will work with each case on an individual basis, and we will do everything in our power. My goal, 100%, is to keep every one of my children here at school throughout this entire crisis, that we are able to return whatever date it is in April or the 1st of May to come together and celebrate and work through how we did this and be ready to come back for Camp Oasis and for the fall. We are a family, and we will come through this. God has delivered his people through far bigger disasters and crisis than this, than a disease of this nature. So just know that Grace is not closing. We're not going anywhere. I want to work with each individual family. As Mrs. Campbell gathers these, she will be getting in contact with me, and we'll be making the decisions, and she will be back with individual families. The reason I can't take those is I have conference calls literally for the next 5 days that start anywhere from 7 in the morning and go till 7 at night. There are potential programs out there through the federal government that will allow help to nonprofits and Christian schools. I have to determine if those are appropriate programs that we want to utilize, or if we even want to get involved with. So know this, we are fiscally sound, we will be here, we are making hard cuts and hard choices in order to stay viable throughout this. I ask you to pray for other nonprofits, other Christian schools, and other churches who may not be as fortunate as we are at this time. I also ask you to pray for all of the families in our school. Many families are struggling, and I'm fully aware of that. I've talked to a number of you. So you may be trying to call the school office and you're getting the answering machine, and the reason for that is the office staff is not in the office. We have different people going through and checking messages and trying to return calls as best possible. So that's what's going on with our office team. To pay tuition, we still pay tuition the regular way. You can mail it in. You can go through RenWeb. Some of you do the direct deposit or automatic, and that is a great way. If you want to drop it off at the school, we had a pickup today on April 1st and we had a drop off today, excuse me, and a pickup on April 7th of new assignments. So that will be there. I want you to remind your children, if they have any questions, they can email their classroom teachers. The teachers will do everything to get in contact with them. We are not having teachers on campus every day of the week, and the reason for that is to really emphasize the social distancing. And the only reason they're coming on now is to get essential supplies or things that they need to be able to facilitate their lessons to the students. Our office staff is the same way. I've asked them, they will be there tomorrow, April 1st, which is the, if I'm not mistaken, it's pick up or drop off. I don't have it in front of me, I apologize. And then on April 7th. And that's what's happening at the school right now. These are unprecedented times, and we will get through these. I have a Bible verse here, and I really am taking this to heart. It says, whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive if you have faith. Matthew 21:22. I have faith that we will get through this. Our God is bigger than any disease, and I know He will deliver Grace Christian School, His church, and His people through this. Parents, I'm praying for your families. Our staff is praying for your families. We will overcome this together, and I felt this was an important video out to each of you to let you know where we are as a school, that we are going to be here today, we're going to be here tomorrow, and we're going to be here next year. So as we go through this, I look forward to seeing many of your kids when we clear this for the end of school, and then for Camp Oasis, for those students that come to that, and then the start of school in August. We're moving forward. We're ordering supplies. We're bringing everything in for the start of the school year, and this will be stronger than before. But parents, just remember, if you ask for it in prayer, and if you have faith, God will deliver. Thank you so much for allowing us to partner with you in sending your kids to Grace Christian School. We consider it a great honor. Have a good evening.